Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to Thursday with White Gecko. Ooh, that would be welcome to White Gecko. We are just doing a really simple one this week. I thought it was really cool. You know how you get all those tote bags that are really cool, but they're just a tote bag? Well, this will turn it into a zippy bag, okay? Which you could then add to any lining of a bag that you were going to do anyway. Before that, few things. No deal of the day, mainly because we were busy basting quilts and didn't have time to think about it. There should be a raffle going on tomorrow, I think, so keep an eye out for that. Any tinks going off might remind you that it's going on. And Sarah is on Saturday on the ICHF, so it'll be coming from here, but being beamed into your home. So there are still tickets available, so go and have a look at those. Okay, you can either go to their website, I think ICHF, there would be a link from there, or there's a link on our webpage, on the White Gecko Craft Lounge page. So am I talking to myself or are people come in?
We got hellos from Wendy, Kate, Anne, Taryn, Karen, a bunch of people.
Hi. Don't forget the shop is open, all right? So you could join the queue outside. But it's been a steady flow of people, so it's been quite nice. It's just lovely to see you. Right, you all know about our tote bags, don't you? Okay, they're down to £2.95 at the moment, and look, so beautiful. In fact, you could put that in the middle of a quilt, couldn't you? You could just have that, or as a signature on the bottom. Perhaps we ought to think about doing that. Oh, thinking about signatures and that. No, that's all right. It's another thing. My brain. Anyway, it's just a normal tote bag. See, an open tote bag. But I've put a zip in mine. So this one, it means that it's a lot more secure if you're going shopping. And you just put the zip in like that. And it's really easy. Simple, easy. Any comments? Are they all wooing and ahhing about it?
There's a bunch more hellos. But
right.
That's what's coming.
It'll come. I'm going to use a longer zip. What I've done is I've taken this and I've gone with a longer zip. Okay. So it ends up coming off, but you know that it's going to open as wide as the bag. Okay, so you're going to open the bag to its full extent. I did take a zippity-doo-dun-doo-dah zip to do it, but I think because there's no end, I have to play with it. And I had this one in my stash and I thought, do you know what? That'll work just as good. So I would cut my calico. I've chosen calico because it goes in with this, but you could put a black material and you'll be able to see it. With the black zip, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. I've cut it at 3 inches wide because we're going to make it into almost a bias. Okay. And you want it to be the same width as your bag because you're going to turn it down on a hem, so it will actually fit in there eventually. Okay, we're going to turn a little hem down. So without any further ado, we're going to chop off the end. I'm looking for all Sarah's rulers. She did, oh sorry Alex, she did say she'd lost some. Okay, so we're going to chop off the, oh, new blade, nice. I'm going to chop off the end, the salvage end, and I'm just going to measure how big it is there. It's not an exact science because you'll all have different sized tote bags, won't you? I love a tote bag. I have so many because I like a tote bag rather than a plastic bag. I can't stand a plastic bag. I also own a lot of those as well. But yeah, a plastic bag is just meh as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to cut that at a 3-inch square. All right. So you want 2 pieces, 3 inches by width of your tote bag, and you want a you don't want a 3-inch. You could fold it so that you have a double bit. This bit is going to go on the end of my zip, like that. Okay, so we're going to iron these now. So over to the ironing board. Okay, so we're going to iron in your 2 hems, okay, 2 end bits, just to get your raw edges on the inside. All right, and then we're going to iron in and iron in. So how is everybody doing? What's the weather like with you lot? We've got absolutely beautiful skies, beautiful blue skies at the moment, not a cloud in the sky. Right, I've just cut a bit off that because we don't need it quite so wide. It's just rule of eye, really. How did I do that? Did that go in like that? Yeah. It's all right. Ironing it out of sequence. Okay, so we're coming up to the weekend. How many of you have actually got your tickets now for Sarah? That doesn't mean that you only, I think you can watch other things as well, can't you? I have to be honest, I've not done it. I've not looked into it. I know my Dave is waiting, hoping that the weather's going to be like this over the weekend so he can get on his allotment. So he's hoping it's going to stay like this. Right, so you can see I've made a little flap that's going to go over here. Now you have to be aware, although this zip is plastic, made of plastic, there's the teeth, this bit is metal, so you have to be careful how you sew it. Now when I sewed it last time, where is it? I just put like a wavy thing because I know that my metal, my metal piece is in there. Okay, so I just made sure that I sewed slowly around it rather than doing the cross hatch, because I know that that is going to go right through the middle. There's my metal piece. In fact, if I do that, I can iron that off afterwards. I know that that's my metal piece and I need to avoid that. Okay, so over to the sewing machine. I'm going to be a good girl as well, I think, and I'll use the zipper foot. I don't normally. Okay, I don't normally use the zipper foot. I'm very bad at that. But we're going to give it a go. So I'm just going to sew this end on. Okay. Okay, there we go. It's not moving much. Any questions so far, Al?
Katie asks, how much are the tickets?
I think they're a tenner. I think they're £10, so very reasonable indeed. I'm sure if Sarah or Sean are there, they'll be able to answer that question for you. Sorry, I don't retain that type of information. Right, I'm just going around it, like that. I have enough trouble remembering how much things are in the shop. Okay, I'm just going around it like a box. Okay. Sarah's machine apparently is ready for pickup as well, so she'll be very excited about that. So I'm going to go across. I can get across the middle without going through that metal piece because I've marked it, and then I think what I'll do is I'll do that like sunburst again. It's just to make sure that it's on there. So I'm going to go back along there, and it means that if you do pull it, I don't think you actually need to be pulling it very much, but if you do pull it, it means it won't come off in your hand. There we go. There's nowhere to cut.
Linda and Jean have both said it's $7.99.
£7.99. See, we've already saved you £2 and 1 penny. So, as you can see over here, I have now, there we go, and it's gone. So I'm just going to chop these off because I've gone back over these two. So we're just going to chop these off, and we have our zipper tab. Now, any of you who have been saying zipper tabs, there's a zipper tab. That's all you have to do, is just fold it around it. If you were putting this into a pouch, I would make that a little bit wider, because then that would then sit into your seams. Okay, but we're just doing this to finish our zip off. Right, and put that to one side. Here we have our two 3-inch wide. Okay, so for this I'm going to fold it in half lengthways. Okay, now calico, you can see the marks on them. If ever you get your calico with marks on, it's because it's unbleached and stuff, and quite often it will come with those marks. So we're going to fold it in half, and because I want it to be wider, I don't want it to sit right up against the edge of the zip. I want there to be a bit left to give me a bit of a girth at the top. I'm only going to put in a hem. All right, just going to fold it in a little bit. I'm not going to take it to the middle. All right, and I'm just guessing here, but you could mark it along. I would fold it in. We'll have a look and see what that is now. Be careful on the end. There we go. So what's that? That's 3/8. Okay, it's about 3/8 I've gone in, but it's your choice. I mean, you could make these strips 4 inches wide, or 5 inches wide, which would then mean that you could you'd have a wider top. Now, I did put in a squared off bottom on it, but I think, sorry if I moved again, I think that I needed a bigger one. It doesn't do anything, the one that I've done. So, but the nature of a tote is that they expand because they're fabric. Sorry, multitasking. I think that's the masculine side of my brain. Doesn't multitask. Which is a very generic thing to say, isn't it? Right, okay. So anybody else come up with any pearls of wisdom that I can witter on about?
And says the ticket gives you access to all the demos.
There you
She
go.
didn't know about.
So for $7.99 you get access to all the demos. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
Jean says it's lovely and sunny up in Girvan.
It's up in Scotland.
Leslie says it's sunny up there where she is as well.
Ooh, that means all the little flowers are going to be popping their little heads up. I love this time of year. I like the light and the trees. I mean, my birthday's first time I've mentioned my birthday, won't be the last. My birthday's soon, and I like the light around my birthday because it's not that harsh summer light. It's a nice dappley light. I don't know what you're nodding about. Do you actually see daylight?
A little bit.
He likes the dappled light between his eyelashes. So that's the 2. Okay. I'm not going to faff with that one. I always get this bit wrong. I don't know about the rest of you, but this turning under and then folding it back in half, I always end up with the little bit sticking out. I don't know whether if I fold it, you know, like a parcel, whether that helps. Or I could trim it off, couldn't I? I could trim it off. Let's try that. I'll trim that bit off there and that bit off there, because I'm going to sew it in anyway. Right, one more end. So I'm going to attempt Bargello, I think, this weekend, if I can get a pattern. However, I've been watching lots of people on YouTube about it, but Sarah says she's written a pattern way back. I remember my mother doing a quilt with birds on it. I think that's the one my son's got. So there we go. Right, so I've done those. Very boring to watch, I know. So we're now going to put this from, where shall I go? Here? Right. We're now going to put this onto our zip, okay? So I want there to be a bit of play in it, but I want to tuck that under. See where I've made the short end here, I've turned it under on a hem. I want to tuck that in there just to make sure it doesn't stick out. And then we're going to go along here.
Looking for pins.
Please. And then we're going to pin this in. Now, there are plenty of ways to do this. Now you can pin it, you can stick it, you can baste it. Okay, I'm just going to pin it. And you tuck in the side of your zip into this. So you're basically just putting a bias on it. So if you've got wide bias binding tape, you could use that too. So you would just make this bit as wide as you wanted, and we're just going to tuck the ends, the side of the zip in all the way down like that. Okay, using Sarah's applique pins. It surprises me how blunt pins get, as an aside. So there we go. So I now have to, since this is me today, it means that Sarah and I now have to start thinking again about what we're going to do next week. So was there anything that you wanted one of us to run over? When I say run over, I don't mean with the car. Okay, here we go. Right. Okay, so that's one side. Let's do the other side while we're at it. That's not going to sit in there. Perhaps I need to pin that as well. Stick a pin in there. Put a pin in it. There you go. While I'm doing this, is there any more pearls of wisdom going on?
Leslie says, glad you said about the pins, thought it was me.
No, I was surprised. I always thought pins, they're going to stay pinny, but they don't. Okay, so I've tucked that in there, and I'm going to fold this over, and I'm going to pin this one like that. Okay, like that. And then we're going to tuck this in along here. Okay, so I'm going to go that way, so I want to pin that way. Now if I was at home, I'd probably baste this or wing it. I'm a terrible one for winging it, then unpicking it, pinning it and doing it properly. And they should, hopefully, if you've done your hems right, the same size, then they should work. So I'm bringing it almost to the zip, but not right up to it. I don't know whether that comes out on the thing, but you know, remember you've got all that bit of the zip. I quite like quite a bit of zip showing, so I could take this further out again. You know, remember, it's your bag, it's your zip. You do whatever you want. I'm bringing it so that it doesn't quite go up to the zip. No, that's not good. So anybody going for parties this weekend? Be a nice weekend for barbecues. At least then you're outside. I thought I might have a rave. Not that I've ever been to a rave ever. So, right. Here we go. I'm going to tuck that in again, like that. But if we take it slow enough, we can tuck anything that needs to be tucked.
Suzanne asked, could you use a fabric glue pen?
Yes, you could. And there's also that dissolvable tape. You know, the tape that you put in and it would dissolve when you wash it. You could use that as well. Right, I'm going to... Don't do that. Okay, that hurts. Right, as you can see, I'm not quite the same length, but it might reassert itself. So we're going to go back over here. I'm going to go back over here. And we're going to change. Where's a... There it is. We're going to change this for... we would do if she had one. Okay. I can't find the thing. I'm going to use this foot, which is what I use at home anyway. I've moved, the needle is right the way to the left, okay? And I put in the first stitch, first seam, I put in there. That's it. Right, so we're going to, I've got the, can you see the foot? I'm using the normal foot, okay, which is the one with the perspex in it. And I've got this side piece right up against my zip. All right, so I'm going to run that alongside the zip, and my needle is right to the left. Okay, so it's, I'll show you where it goes at the end of it. Okay, so I'm just running the side of the foot up by the zip. I get a better seam or a better finish if I use it like this than if I use the zipper foot. But that's my personal thing.
Vanessa asked, what's the best way to dispose of sharp things like pins, needles and cutting blades?
You can buy, I bought from Amazon a sharps box. I'm no idea what I'm going to do with it when it's full. Some people use the cassettes that films used to come in. They've used those. Tic Tac boxes.
Ooh,
oh,
gimbal just died.
No. There we go. So we're coming down to the end. I'm going to keep going right down like this. And go back up and off the end. Okay. Right. So that's the first one. The needles. You all right there?
Yep.
The gimbal's just died. Okay. Alright. So there's my seam. Okay, can you see the seam running along there? I get a better finish when I do it like that, rather than using the zipper foot. It's probably, yeah, there's no, like there's no quilt police, there's no zipper police. You put the zipper in how is easiest for you. Now with the one that I did before, I took it out, I took it and did it, did a second seam as well. So lift your foot, turn it on the diagonal and bring your zip up. That way, don't sew yourself into a corner. Move it before you need to get there. So you move it out the way when you're going down the other way and then back up this way. Okay. There we go. Nearly there. And then I'll show you how to put it into the bag. Any more conversation starters going on?
Sue said, I never use my zipper foot, much easier with a normal foot.
I'm glad it's not just me. Right, there we go. Okay, so I miss my machine. I actually miss Sarah's machine, and you know how I don't get on with that. Right, but because I've gone back and forth over my stitches, I'm just chopping this off like that. So we now have our zip piece. Okay, it runs like that, so we know it's okay. I don't have to unpick anything. Right, that's the one we've done. Oh. Okay, now on a tote bag where they've put the handles, they will have put a hem. I'm going to sew this on the hem. All right, so I'm going to put this, now you right way up, you're going to want it to sit with the zip up. Okay, so this one I have to do over and over again because I forget. Now if you wanted to box the corners, that's what I was looking for, was that word, box the corners. You would turn it out, inside out, and then you would line up this side seam with the bottom crease. Okay, so you would just pull it out so it becomes a triangle like that, so that your side seam is on the top and it lines up with your bottom crease or your bottom seam, and then you would measure along and sew it. Now I only sewed mine about there, and you can see it hasn't really done anything, but if I brought it, if I took it to about there, then you would have this amount of bottom. You could also then, if you pull it out on the two corner bits like that, we could put a seam, just do a top stitch along from one corner to the other corner. Yeah, if you put a top stitch along there, that would then make it a proper bottom. You put another top stitch along there, that would then make that proud. So you would have a proper bottom in it. So that's another thing that you could do. Okay, we want the zip to open on the outside. So when we put the zip in, you need to make sure that your zipper is pointing towards the right side of your bag. Okay, I'm going to open the zipper up. Open the zipper up, and we're going to sew this onto here. So you're going to make sure your handles are up, and we're just going to sew the folded piece along the bottom of your hem of your bag. Okay, so we're going to pin that again. Let's have this. This, once you're doing it for yourself, if you decide to do it, it's a lot quicker. It's because we're explaining it. When you're just doing it, and I would probably consider doing another stitch. Take it so that the foot goes over the zip and do another stitch line in if you don't want the lippy bit, if you want it to be closer. So I've gone along on the hem. You want to make sure that the handles are pointing out the top, okay? Yes, because when you turn it round, this is going to be on the inside. All right. So at this point you think, nah, I'm going to get it wrong. So we're going to just sew that in there. If I'm doing it along the hem, I don't think it's going to, I think it's flat along the hem. Right, so back over here. I don't know what I've done there now. It's knowing which one. It's that one. Just pulled it all out. We're going to work on it where it is, I think. I don't know what I've changed. Right. Anything there, Al? Because I'm whittling on my own here.
Diana said, how close would the second seam be to the first? But I don't know.
Probably not very much. Probably about an 1/8. I mean, you could decorate. You could do a decorative seam down there, if that's what you wanted to do. Right, we're going along that way. So I'm going to stick this in here. Now you could take your foot off and put it along there. Right, I'm going to just sew this with the thing as it is. No, I don't want to do that. I'll come back down because I don't know what it's doing otherwise. Right, so oh, my pins are all in the wrong way. Okay. Sarah's got more pin cushions than I have. Right, I'm just going along. I've now got a zigzag. No, that's a zigzag. What have I done? I don't even know what I've done. I tell you what. Take the cheats way out. Turn it off. Turn it back on again. Right. That should have sorted it. Yes, it has. Okay, we're off. We're just going to put a line of stitching to attach this. Just straight line stitching along there. Now you could have put prettier fabric in. I mean, I've just used this because it's the fabric of the bag, but if you've got a decorated tote that you now want to zip in, you're just putting this along the edge. You could do it in a coordinating fabric instead of the one that's you know, to match in so that it disappears. Right, where am I? There we go. So we've got the zip, one half of the zip in. Thought then I'd sewed it to the handle. So we're going to look at the other side now. Okay. So I've back stitched on either side. Okay, so we've now got our zip is in there. All right, so we're going to do the other side and then we're done. There we go. So what have you all got planned for this afternoon? How many of you have to go back to work? I've put it in the right way, haven't I? Yeah, that's that way. No, right. There. We're going to put that in there. So you want to sort of line it all up. Make sure that your zip is straight. And we're going to line it back up this way. I'm going to put... Well, let's make the bag straight, shall we? Would probably have been a good idea to iron the bag before I started. That would have helped. Right, so I've lined up the zip on the one end, and I'm going to go back along and pull the tab out, back along and put it in here. Okay. Any more questions there, Al?
Claire says, I'm at work now. Linda says, come to see you both.
I always wonder what people are doing with their days. Whether they say, right, lunch now. I no longer take lunch at 1 o'clock. At 12 o'clock. I take it at 1. Right, okay, so we've pinned that in again. Make sure your straps, again, are sticking out the top. All right, quick whiz down here now, and then we're done. Okay. I'm lining my foot up, forward, back. And here we go. Now I could have put my pins at a right angle to the seam, and that way you can just roll over them. However, I don't know how many more, but how many of you flinch every time it goes over a pin? I'll shut my eyes and hope for the best. Bit of luck. Okay, hopefully that should be it. Oh, hello. Come on. There we are. Okay, so this is the bit where I thought, I've twisted it, but it actually works out okay in the end. So you turn your bag back out the right way and pull your zip round. I have twisted it, haven't I? Need it to go that way. Oh no, there we go. So I didn't sew any of that in. Ta-da! See, I'm happy again that it's worked. Could probably have done with it being a little shorter, and I got a lot of ends this end. But there you go. So you put a zip in a tote bag, which is really cool. Well, I thought it was cool. Maybe at a later date we'll do it from the beginning and we'll put a recessed zip in and make the whole bag as well. Perhaps we'll look at that. It's got all bits. So there we go. So now that is a lot more secure to go shopping with. Okay. Ta-da! So don't forget, Sarah's on Saturday, and we will be back again then next week with more things to play with, and I hope that you all have a go at that. You can put it into almost anything. You could now can do a recessed zip in a cushion. See, if you've got your envelope and stuff, and that's it. I'm done. So from me and Alex, it's bye and have a nice weekend.